Yeah, can you just hit the top button on that and then...
Gotcha. I'll take that.
Hey, at this rate, you might be taking it, Joe. I hope you do. Nothing will make me happier, Kat.
That's not a good feeling. Just having to leave this here.
What?
Just having to leave this here and walk away.
We're done, aren't we?
No, I know, no, you are. I said it's not a good feeling.
Look at it.
Right, makes you sick.
Are you going to have people on the 26th?
For what?
For yard?
Oh, yeah. We should, yeah.
It's worth asking at this point.
Oh, no, I appreciate it. But, no, Bob and Johnny will definitely be there. Ray said he's going to be there, so we should be good.
Ray said he's...
Yeah, actually, is he here?
Yeah. No, Ray didn't come tonight.
I knew he wasn't. I knew it. We're so screwed for yard. He's not coming. He's never coming.
But he's up. He lives up.
He was on his way last night at like 10:30. Like Stant called him while we're driving up to the Airbnb, and he's like, "Hey, I'll call you right back. I'm on the phone." We didn't hear from the rest of the night. And then he told him today he was just gonna come up today, and then he's not here.
Yeah. How do you get like that on the line? How do you just not want to show up at that point?
I gotta go talk. I gotta get something from Kenny though. I'll be back. I promise. I'm sorry. I gotta get him.
Nice job. Good idea.
Come on, Cap. Let's say, Chris.
Oh, anymore.
You started.
No, I'm going to do it now. I got it.
Do you want me to do anything? I'm not filming for like another 5 minutes.
There you go. Hey, Brycey. Way up. Anything you want now, 10. There you go. Let's go, boys. Get in fire.
Like it.
Great start. Go up.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, right behind the fire.
Yeah, I think it's right next to it. Just one. Do you want a big one? These are cannons. These are cannons. You're watching one of two semifinals here at MAW Wiffle Wars. This is Stompers versus New School Risers. New School Risers are the number 1 seed entering the playoffs. They went 4-0. I'm sorry, Stompers are the number 1 seed entering the playoffs. They went 4-0. They're facing the Risers, who are 4th seed. It's just a 14 playoff. There are a whole bunch of different possible outcomes for today. We ended up with just 4 teams. 5 or 6 teams went 2-2, missed out. All 4 teams in the playoffs here in this Final Four went either 3-1 or 4-0 in prelim play.
Nice job, 1-7.
It's a 14-team tournament, so that necessitates a 4-game pool play, a prelim round. So kind of worked out nicely with the extra prelim game. We're just having a semifinals here, since all teams have played one more game than they usually do up to this point, or up until the playoffs. So Chris Owen is on the mound for the New School Risers. Chris is pitching his first game today. Dave Capobianco pitched the team's first 3. And Jerry Hill pitched the last game for the Risers that they kind of punted a bit against the long balls, even though they could have taken the top overall seed. They chose to just keep a fresh arm and take whoever they got. They ended up with the Stompers. Our other semifinal game, which will start streaming on YouTube soon, is Juggernauts versus Voodoo. Voodoo's the 2nd seed, Juggernauts are the 3rd seed. Both of those teams went 3-1 in their prelim games.
Let's go, Gino, kid.
Wind's been blowing pretty hard all day. It's kind of blowing to the right and out, I think, on this field. Risers pitcher Chris Owen's a bit of an enigma. He's an original MAW participant, played for the Barrel back in 2017 as he has that nice slider over for a strike. And at times, his first couple of years, he kind of was trying to find himself, whether he wanted to throw a clean ball, whether he wanted to, throw a cut ball, or or something in the middle, concrete or whatever. And there was reasons for both. He had a nice sweeping slider that you've seen in his last 2 pitches with the clean ball, and kind of didn't want to get rid of that. But then, he's also got some other stuff. So it took him a while to kind of figure out how to still throw that with a cut ball and then get a few other pitches. But also his velocity, as that slider wraps around Kevin Morris, or Chris Morris for the K. His velocity's also sort of been a mystery. He's a former college baseball player, and he's a big, strong guy, can throw hard, but doesn't always necessarily throw as hard as he can. Early in this game, I would say, he's not really reaching back completely, and that can hurt him a little bit. Just trying to guide the ball a little too much, rather than when he's got his best velocity and he's throwing that sweeping slider like you saw last inning. He's a really, really good pitcher, really tough pitcher. When he's not, when he's kind of guiding the ball a little bit, he can get hit around a little. So Risers are hoping he'll settle in here and really pitch a big game that he's capable of. Jerry Hill leading off for the New School Risers. Near top of the 2nd, no score. Again, Voodoo Juggernauts will be starting on our YouTube, our Sim channel, momentarily here. Jerry slices that off the other way. Just a little bit foul. Bryce Clark is on the carpet for the Stompers. Bryce is this is his first appearance today. I don't know for sure, but I think, I know they got a game. I know the Stompers got a game out of Morris, and I think Gino took the other 3 to this point. Good spot from Clark there. Hits the bottom inside corner. Gets Jerry looking. 1 out.
Nice job. One more. Right there, Kevin.
slices that off the other way. Foul. Two outs now. Brings up Chris Owen trying to help himself. Chris has also developed into a solid hitter. He'll have tournaments where, like most players do, except the the tippy top ones, he'll have tournaments where it doesn't hit much, but he's had some really big tournaments hitting wise. Had a real nice tournament last year in the United Wiffle. Hitting. Bryce makes quick and clean work of the new school risers in the second. That's 6 up, 6 down to start the game. Go to the bottom of the second, no score.
Chucking it, Bryce.
If you're just joining us, this is one of 2 semifinals here at Wiffle Wars 5. We've got new school risers coming into the playoffs, seeded number 1. They went 4-0 in prelim play, taking on, I'm sorry, I keep messing that up. The Stompers are seeded number 1. They went 4-0 in prelim play. The risers are 3-1. They've got the 4th seed, and then in our other semifinal, which is just underway.
Let's go, 10.
Took the 4th seed, and then we've got Voodoo versus Juggernauts, both went 3-1 in prelim play in our other semifinal, which should be starting now on YouTube as well. If you want to check that out.
Boy, 10.
Chris Owen is on the carpet for the risers.
Let's go, 10. Yeah, Matt, Ricey. Help yourself out. Come on, let's go, kid. Come on, babe. All right, Gabe, let's go. Runner for you.
So that's a walk, first base runner of the ball game. Bryce Clark walks.
There you go. Be patient. Come on, anybody stay here, kid.
Chris Owen on the carpet for the risers. This is his first game pitched today. One of the bigger spots he's pitched in an MAW. As I said earlier, he's been in MAW since the very, very first tournament. He's a member of the Barrel Bruisers. He's had some really good tournaments. He's had some forgettable tournaments. This is definitely his biggest spot. His Cap's taken it all the way to this point. If he had no other option, if Chris wasn't here, Cap would still be pitching, but smartly giving it over to Chris. Who can be a very, very good pitcher. He's primarily going with that slider. That's usually been his bread and butter throughout his career. First throwing it clean, now he throws it cut, but still gets pretty good movement on it. Like I also said, Chris's velocity can come in and out a little bit. Here I say he's kind of in the middle of where he can be. I've seen him throw harder, I've seen him throw slower, but sacrificing a little velocity for command is not necessarily the worst thing, especially if he keeps in the top of the zone like that.
Boy, good hack, kid. No, you're all right. You're good. 1-3. Hey, come on, Gino. Let's go, kid. Pick me up. Take it off, 1-3. Anyway, say Morse.
2 outs now, runner on first. Chris really living at the top of the zone early in this game. Both puts a slider, and I think that was just a screwball that kind of stayed flat. Kind of looks more like a fastball, but
We say what?
stayed just above the zone, which isn't a bad place to be.
Nice eye. Hey, great hack. Yep, great hack. Just missed it. I got you, Chris. You didn't have to do that. Hey, tough with 2 now. Slot that the other way. Everything you got. No let up. No let up, Frank. Good eye. Good eye. Good eye. I don't want 1. Know what you're looking for.
Chris Morse batting for the Stompers. Chris, of course, a veteran. His first year in MAW, debuted on opening day for the Stompers. I think they're sort of just fall just short of the fence. That was destined to reach the fence at least on a bounce, but came up a little bit short. Still first and third for the Stompers. But so I say this is Chris's first year with the Stompers, first year full-time in MAW, played at opening day, and this is his second tournament of the summer here, for 2 out of 3 so far. Price a little bit ahead of that. Big scoring opportunity for the Stompers. They do not score a lot of runs. They actually won their first 2 games today without scoring a run in regulation. They got a run in extra innings of automatic bases loaded, but no actual earned runs. That hits the carpets in a wild pitch. Ground ball. Cap's got it. Makes the play. So Chris gets to have a little bit of a pickle there. First and third, 2 outs. But no damage done. So go to the top of the third. Still no score here. Juggernauts Voodoo just underway. That's also airing on our Facebook channel. Looks like red on the carpet for the Jugs in that one. Juggernauts, their loss came to the hands of the Dragons, who probably had the most memorable tournament of anyone today. The Dragons drew a really, really tough schedule. They had what most teams and what the standings more or less say too. The 4 toughest teams in MAW and Voodoo, Juggernauts, Earl, and the Ridley Park Magic. They beat the Magic. Magic was shorthanded. But still a nice win there, and then a really big win over the Juggernauts. So they ended up at 2-2, missed the playoffs, but a real good showing for them. Nick Lee had 2 big wins. Voodoo's loss came to the aforementioned Magic in their first game of the day. Teddy Drescher threw a shutout, and the Magic won 1-0 in that. The Risers' loss came to the Long Balls in their final game of the day. They made a strategic decision to, against the Long Balls, to throw Jerry Hill. They knew they were already in. And rather than worry about positioning, just take whoever they got. And they got a pretty good matchup here with the Stompers. But in losing that game and falling to 3-1, they let up quite a few runs, which put them in this 4th spot and put Voodoo and Juggernauts in the 2nd spot. This tournament's been a really good example of just the depth in MAW, just how quality every team is. 5 or 6 teams. I think 6 teams win 2-2 out of the 13-team tournament, and these 4 win better than that. Or with the Stompers emerged undefeated.
Oh, watch your lips. I got you.
Have you ever been plunked back here?
I have, yeah, actually, yeah. Sitting over there, like for the home run, sitting over there one time, like for a draft tournament or something, I got like right in the face. Just misses way wide with that. Just misses my head.
There you go. Let's switch it up.
Comes back, it's Jerry swinging. But yeah, a lot of battles today with the 4-team, prelim round. What that really does, especially when you're not guaranteed to get in at 2-2, and no one did get in at 2-2. It really, even more so than other MAW tournaments, it really makes every game matter. Like for example, even though the Dragons didn't reach the playoffs, the reason Voodoo and Juggernauts are facing each other now, rather than one of these teams facing the Risers, and one facing the Stompers potentially, is because the Dragons beat the Juggernauts earlier, and same thing for Ridley Park Magic went 1-3, but they beat Voodoo in the first game. That's the reason Voodoo's now in the position they are instead of a different position. So it all kind of matters and all kind of floats down. And it was a really good tournament in that regard. Goon Squad also had some big wins, beating Earl, who went 2-2.
Nice job. Let's go. Let's get him on. We got top of the order.
Another clean inning for Bryce. That's I think it's 9 up, 9 down to start the game.
Pressure off him. Let's go, Bob. 3. Chris thought I called him old. I told him he was moving the rest. Yeah. Bob. Trust him. Yep. Yeah. All day. Hate the work.
leading off for the Stompers.
Still 1-7.
Still scoreless here, bottom of the third inning. Semifinals, the winner of this awaits the winner of Voodoo Juggernauts in the Wiffle Wars Championship game.
Nice. Hey, go. Base hit, ball forward. Come on. You go, I go. Let's go 1-7. You go,
Slider
I go.
just slides outside, so 3-0 count. Nobody on, bottom of the third inning.
Nice job. Nice job.
Cruz takes that for ball 4. Big leadoff base runner for the Stompers here in the third.
Attaboy, Nate. Attaboy. Let's go 1-3. Patience, Dino. Know what to do with it.
Nice, Chris.
Hey, come on, kid. Go that zone, kid.
Hey, make the adjustment. 2-strike approach here. Put the ball in play.
All right, trust them hands, trust them eyes. Let's go, kid.
What's the map too?
Nice. Come on, Gino.
Pitches the outside corner. 1 out now. Still runner on first. Brings up Chris Morris for the Stompers.
Hey, we say 1. Let's go, Chris. Nice. Good eye, ones. Good eye. There you go. There you go. Look for something sweet here. Take it for a ride, 1.
Morris up in the count now, 3 out.
Morse. A shove. Stay there.
Takes that riser off the back. So first and second now, 1 out. Brings up Stompers team captain Bryce Clark.
Hey, where'd it get on? Go 10.
Chris relied so heavily on that sweeping slider. The 2 lefties in the Stompers lineup.
1 down, right? Yeah, 1 out.
Bryce and Gino. Should have a little bit of advantage in that regard. That ball just comes into them. They can see it. It doesn't curve around their back. A little tougher on righties than it is on lefties. So Chris wants to be careful with that as this game progresses. He has gotten bitten by that pitch against lefties in the past. So the Risers get their fielders set here. First and second, 1 out. A clean single would bring in the game's first run.
Oh, that's a tough spot, Ted.
Instead, Chris paints black, bottom corner. Big pitch, gets ahead 0-2 now. 4-ball, 2-strike count in MAW.
Come on, 10.
Chris comes back with that, again, that kind of flat screwball of his.
Go. You go on.
Does its job, freezes Clark. 2 outs now. Oh, and a couple strikes are an out away from getting out of this inning. Damage. Really can't slow him down. It's Cruz Chase just above the zone. It's been a nice weapon for Owen this game. Just keeping that slider just a little bit above the zone. He's had a lot of good results. He's gotten a lot of good results from that. Then comes back, same formula he used against Bryce. He gets looking strikes. So just claps it up, getting out of that inning there. Another big, a couple base runners on, but another nice job escaping. So we're now through 3 complete innings, no score here. Stompers versus the New School Risers semifinals at Wiffle Wars 5 at Jai Wiffle Ball Park in York, Pennsylvania. The nice blue skies right now is a little bit overcast earlier in the day, but it's turned into a really pleasant day. Low 70s, sun, a little too much wind, but nothing that really seems to be impacting this game yet. And then the other field, Schuler Field, where our other semifinals taking place, that field never really tends to have wind problems. It's kind of walled in on all 4 sides by trees. This field too, because it's got all the trees going around the outside, that blocks a lot of the wind. But on the other field, you really get no wind at all. But some of the games, especially at the satellite fields, were definitely complicated by the wind. It was a little bit colder too than you would expect from mid-June. All week was, upper 70s, mid 80s. Including yesterday, and then the temperature this morning just dropped to low 60s. So the wind and the overcast, it kind of felt a little chilly in the morning. Riser's looking for the first base runner. Jerry leans away from that pitch and hits the upper inside corner of the strike zone. He comes back with something a little bit more over the middle, but Jerry just a little late on it, it looked like. Brings up Dave Capabianco, Riser's captain.
Great job, Tan. Way up now, Tan. I like you. First pitch. Anything you want. I like it. Easy help.
Little screwball at the bottom of the zone. Cap taps it back to Bryce. Makes the out without any issue. The Risers do put a ball in play. Starting to have a little bit better swings. Cap, of course, usually has good swings. A veteran. Quickly, I think, approaching 20 years in the sport.
Nice job.
He's mid-40s now. He's still as good of a competitor and as good of a player as he ever was. Like I said, maybe even a few years ago, he would have still been pitching this game, but he's taken a lot of toll on his arm, and even in MAW, we've seen him throw 30-plus inning tournaments. With Chris here and fresh, right back at Bryce. Did a real nice job corralling that. That was a really hard-hit ball, and it took a big hop off the carpet, but Bryce did a really nice job staying with that to record the out. He still has yet to allow a hit or a base runner in this game. But I'd say for Cap, he's just played for a very, very long time and just, one of the great all-time competitors in wiffle ball. He could be seen at wiffle up tournaments, a decade or so ago, playing as a one-man team. I'm sure others have done it. The only other person I recall playing as a one-man team in any tournament is Tom Locascio. As far as I know, Caps all came in wiffle ups, which, like MAW, have a 4-ball 2-strike count. Cassio, I know the one time he did it, was in his normal 4-3, 6-inning tournament, and I can't remember if he was in Shamokin, Pennsylvania. I can't remember if he won it or not, or just came in second, but pretty amazing feat anyway. Cap's another one of those Iron Men in wiffle ball. both on a per tournament basis, a per game basis, and just the longevity of his career. He's still one of the top players in MAW at 45 or 46. Those just joining semifinals here. Stompers, New School Risers. Stompers enter the 14 Final Four playoffs as the number 1 seed. They went 4-0. Risers went 3-1. They took the 4th seed because they had the worst runs most runs allowed amongst the 3-1 teams. Voodoo and Juggernauts both went 3-1. They're playing in our 2 versus 3 matchup. That's also airing on our YouTube channel.
Adam, babe. I boy 1-3.
Gino Joseph leading off this bottom of the 4th for the Stompers.
Hey, Adam, boy.
Fouls that back.
All right, Gino, come on, Kit. Shorten the swing up. Right here, 1-3. Let's go, 1-3. Let's go, Kit. Come on, what do you say, hit? Come on, Gino. Out of boy.
All right, leave it up, baby.
Twos? Yep. Let's go 1-3. Come on, Gino. What do you say here, Kid? Good back. Let's move to 1-3.
Gino strikes out here in our other semifinal game, Voodoo Juggernauts. Looks like Vin Lee just singled, and judging by their action, it definitely brought in a run, if not 2. Reds pitching for the Juggernauts.
Stay hot.
Voodoo looking for their first tournament win of the year, 2nd overall in franchise history. They got their last one also at Wiffle Wars. Last year was a week later. Wiffle Wars is usually on Father's Day, but last year was pushed back a week just because of a scheduling conflict. Voodoo won that one. It's the franchise's, like I said, lone tournament win to this point. They've made the finals of both prior 2022 MAW tournaments. Lost to Juggernauts in opening day and lost to Earl back in Millersville, Maryland at Battle by the Bay. There's Frozen on that slider, so Chris evens up the count.
What are you here, kid? Hey, be smart now. 2-2. Tough for 2. Tough for 2, Chris. Good cut. Good cut, Chris. Let's go, Brycey. Love it, dude. Put us on your back. Come on, keep going. Keep going.
Just gets out number 1, runner on first, 1 out. Takes that opposite way.
No, that's a single.
So a long single. Bryce got that a little bit off the ends of the bat. I think we missed that on the camera. But launching on that one wasn't great. It floated a little bit, so that kept it from the fence. But yeah, landed just a little short of the fence and bounced off to the left instead of bouncing straight forward. The bounce straight forward may have ended up. Sorry, I got that wrong. There's 2 outs, runner on first. There wasn't a runner on before, but if I would have bounced forward, that may have ended up as a double.
Hey, boy. There you go.
Still, nice scoring opportunity for the Stompers.
Yeah, I'll be there if you need me. Come on, Nate.
Pops him up. That's probably going to be out of play. Hits off the top of the backstop.
It's in the backyard, right?
Didn't hit the ground. Hey, you're way up. Let's go, Bruce. Get me up. Get me up again. Pitcher's pitch. You got base open. Dangerous. Come on, Nate. Nice. Let's go, Cruz. 1-7. Let's go, kid. Come on, Nate.
Just goes back to his again his bread and butter, that big sweeping slider to get out of the inning. So a long 2-out single doesn't do any damage for the Risers. Of course, with another bit of an escape act. He's had a couple runners on a couple innings, a runner on there with 2 outs. He's managed to navigate his way through the game so far. So we go to the final inning of regulation, tied at 0. It's 5-inning regulation games. These semifinals will go 5 clean innings. By clean, we mean without any base runners added. If they get through the 10th and the score is still tied, bases will start loaded in 11th. For all of our sakes and both of these teams' sakes, no one hopes it gets to that. Probably shouldn't. Risers had some good at-bats last inning. Stompers have had some good at-bats all game, so kind of feels like we'll see a run before we get too deep, if we even make it to extras.
I'm ready.
Jerry?
Hey,
ball, hit ball.
Little poke here.
T-ball, hit ball.
Jerry Hill leading off for the Risers. The Risers are still looking for their first base runner of the game. It's been 12 up, 12 down so far against Bryce Clark.
You all right? Hey, let's go 2-5. Yeah, to lay off that. Let's go 2-5. Nice job. There you go. High IQ here. Stick. Hey, Cap, little poke, Cap. Nice job.
So after retiring Jerry to start the inning, Bryce starts off Cap with a first pitch strike. Nice screwball. He's back with another one. Morse has this. Makes the play cleanly, records the out. 2 quick outs for the Stompers, but again, it's 2 ground outs in a row for Cap. Chris put the ball in play, or actually scorched the ball back up the middle last at bat. So they're having some better swings. Just need a few of those to find holes. Same could be said for the Stompers too, offensively.
Come on. Pass it over to Jared here. Let's go. Nice job. Again, 10 more. One more. Nice in there.
It just misses a little bit low. I think it got the bucket and then ricocheted back up and hit the zone.
Nice job. Go on.
Yeah, it's a low inside corner, so Bryce just missed before, comes back. Though with the next one. So it's 15 up, 15 down for Bryce and the Stompers. With, going to the bottom of the 5th here. Stompers with a chance to walk it off, avoid extras. Voodoo is up 1-0 on the Juggernauts. Again, that's our other game currently streaming on YouTube right now, or their semifinal. Winner of that faces the winner of this one. David Joseph leads off for the Stompers in the bottom of the 5th
Come on,
inning.
1-3.
No score. Stompers looking to end this right now before we get to extras.
Come on, Gino.
Again, nothing really changes when we get there, at least for the first 5 innings.
Get out!
Gino sends that a long way.
Oh,
Dies though
dang
out
it.
there.
it's another single, wasn't it?
That didn't look like that was getting out, but it also looked like it was going to go further than it did.
It sounded good off the bat.
Wind kind of helps us out.
Yeah. Hang on.
We've had, like I said earlier, we've had like between 15 and 18 mile an hour winds. Sometimes, wind gusts over 20, especially in the morning today. But yeah, pretty steady, 15, 16, 17, 18 mile an hour winds today. And even with the trees kind of blocking a lot of that, wind definitely helped knock that down. I'm not sure it was going to get out even on perfect conditions, but it was probably most definitely a double, if not a triple.
Baby!
Just missed it, Chris. That hit zone anyway, so good swing.
Hit it.
The other way.
Hit it.
Hit the corner. Tough with 2. I say more. Tough with 2, Chris.
Chris takes that right down the middle, looking for strike 3. One out now, runner on first. Brings up Bryce Clark.
Way to leave.
Bryce made a bid at an opposite field home run earlier this game.
What do you say now, 10?
Lets that slider go low. Bryce goes down to his knee to try to get that one. Should have just probably left it.
Come on, Brycey. Come on, Brycey.
Real good eyes on that one. That one, Chris has a lot of break on that slider. That one looked like it was going to come back, but had a little less break than usual. It didn't.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Let's go. Great at bat,
boy!
It was on a very similar one there.
Hey, get me up.
No
Hey, there,
changes.
get me up.
Maybe a mistake by Chris on pitch selection. His last 2 pitches, he got Bryce to chase. He got Bryce to chase when he went in. Then he goes away twice with the slider, just misses. But Bryce stays a little far back. Stays about midway back in the box. So he kind of knew he wasn't going to do anything with those outside pitches anyway. Just laid off. Kind of get the free. It feels like he should have probably went back inside. So runners at first and second for the Stompers. 1 out only. Big Cruz now batting.
Hey, attaboy.
Chris takes that outside. That hits the pole. Chris has got to be careful with that slider. It was a thorn in his side early on in his MAW career when he was kind of exclusively throwing that for clean ball. With wild pitches. Even on his good outings, he would have occasion to have that slider just bend even more than he expected it to, and led to a lot of unfortunate wild pitches. He's definitely got a lot better command than he had 6 years ago.
Boy, Nate.
He's walked the bases loaded. His command's kind of failing him a little now. He's walked the bases loaded, 1 out. I'm sorry, a single and then two walks to load the bases. Risers beat it now, but there's really not a whole lot to discuss here. I think this is Chris's game, regardless.
Come on, Gino. Great start, Gino. Let's go, 1-3. too much, 1-3. Reset, 2 strike approach.
Takes one, baby. Just takes
Put
one.
the ball in play.
Let's go. Being close. Let's go, Gino.
Just gets Gino looking huge strike out there. 2 outs now, bases loaded. Still nobody in. Stompers beat Chris Morse to find a way to reach base to play to run and end this game.
Let's go, Morse. Nice. Run.
First slider misses high.
One.
Chris now misses a little bit higher than he was with that earlier in the game. Right, he was right above the strike zone. He was getting a lot of swings and misses. Now he's kind of missing too high to get those chases. Comes down on that one, but misses outside.
Gotta come to you.
2-0 count. Gotta think this is a take situation.
Hey, what do you say here, kid? Let's go, one. Hey, great hack.
Chris.
Great hack.
Big pitch from Owen there. Evens up the count at 2-2.
Hey, what do you say, one? What do you say, one?
1 strike away from getting out of yet another jam in this game.
Poke it.
Come on, Morris. Come on, Morris. What do you say, one? Be you up there, baby. Let's go. Hey, Adam, hey.
Good mix, Chris.
Morse gets a piece of that to stay alive. Still 2-2. Bases loaded, bottom of the 5th inning. Stompers looking to walk this off. Just comes right back over in the middle. Gets a swing and the miss. Gets out of another jam. Lets out a scream. You don't see a ton of emotion from Chris, but late in games, especially the last couple of years late, some big games he's pitched in, he's starting to let loose a little. Huge escape act there.
Come on, Stompers. Let's shut it down.
I'm ready.
Come on, Bryce.
Hey, Jared, a little hit here. Come on, Brycey. Stay locked in, 10.
Come on, Bryce.
What are you better right now?
More.
Nice
Great
job.
on that, Jerry.
Come on, Bryce.
Good idea. Really not off that.
Blame that on the wind right away. You like that?
I wouldn't throw the ball back to Chris because we'll win that one time. 1-2.
We say 2-5. Yeah, good eye.
Bat, Jerry.
Come on, Bryce.
How do you like it?
Hey, come on. Good eye, Jared.
Real nice hole from Jerry Hill there. Full count.
Way to make your adjustment, Jerry.
Nice one.
Beautiful.
Chris comes back in. He's had a lot of success on the inside part of the plate against both Jerry and Cab against the 2 lefties. Big first out. Both of these teams at this point just looking for base runners, just looking for that 1 run.
No, no.
Stop rolling.
Come on, 10. Nice job.
How it ends up all like that.
Come on, 10.
Come on, Bryce. Couple more.
Just dropped down a little bit there for a little bit different look. Cap does not chase. Cap's grounded out his last 2 at bats. Maybe Bryce thinks he's got to mix it up a little bit on him. Here he comes back with his bread and butter, that screwball.
I can't bend over.
2 down now. Brings up Chris Owen.
Go, Bryce.
Dude, I got the top of the strike zone, so it's
All right, one more. Beautiful.
after hitting the top of the zone, he goes way down low.
Get
Catches the
hit.
bottom with that riser. Stompers have their second chance to walk it off. Bottom of the 6th, still no score in one of our 2 semifinal matchups. I said it was Chris's ball the rest of the way, but I spoke too soon. Dave Capabianco back out on the carpet. I'm not sure they're necessarily making a pitching change here. I'm not sure that Cap's just not trying to stay loose. Chris kind of came out halfway, stopped, almost, it was just my read from back here. Almost kind of seemed surprised to see Cap throwing. So we'll see if this is a little bit of a fake out or a real pitching change. If it is a pitching change, I think it's solely just based on the situation, not Chris running out of gas. I think maybe they smell it a little bit. Not that they didn't smell it earlier. Not that and Chris gave him 5 real good innings, but obviously last inning bases loaded jam, he escaped. He had 2 runners on in 2 other innings. I think he had a runner. I think he's had a runner. Chris had a runner on base every inning that he pitched. I think maybe feeling that's kind of inevitable if they leave him in and instead go with Cap. But yeah, Chris definitely has the ball in his hand. Definitely came out expecting to pitch. So we'll see what they do here. So they're giving the call to Jerry here.
Chris gave us 5 great
And Jerry's call looks to be Cap.
We were not quick enough the last time to change. Remember last time?
Chris pointing out that last time, I'm not sure. There's actually a couple last times he could be referring to there. Rice has had a couple situations. I think in the wild card tournament last year. And there's been a couple others that are just escaping me where they started Chris. He gave them 4 or 5 good innings against a good team. Then they left him in there just an inning too long. So try not to make that mistake here, bringing in Cap. Who didn't look too great his first couple pitches. Just looked tight, looked sore as he probably is, but he's got to come on here after 5 or 6 warm-ups. Cap's one of those guys that just likes, I think most pitchers just like to keep going. Some usually, younger pitchers mind less than others. Cap likes to just keep going, not stiffen up. So taking he's actually taking 2 games off. Jerry Hill pitched against the long balls in the final prelim game for the Riser. So he's had that was a shortened game. That was a 10-run game. I think 3 or 4 innings. Still, though, he's had about 10 innings off here.
Hey, your game. Your game right now, 10.
This definitely changes things a lot. Coming into the pitching matchups as they were to start the game, and thinking, at least that I thought that it's Chris's ball the rest of the way, kind of seemed to advantage Stompers. Chris is a little more wild. Bryce pops that up. It's gonna be just a little out of play. And that definitely played out this game. A lot more base runners for the Stompers throughout this seemed like if Chris stayed out there much longer, they were going to get something. But now we're kind of resetting here, kind of almost a whole new game.
Tough with 2. Great eye. Go, Mercy.
First batter of the game results in a strikeout for Dave Capabianco. 1 out brings up Nate Cruz. So velocity-wise, at least at this part of the tournament, Cap has better velocity earlier in this tournament. He can probably still reach back here if he needs to, but kind of the way him and Chris are have pitched in this game so far, sort of similar velocity, but obviously you got lefty-righty differences. Cap far more of an old school pitcher. He uses the concrete balls. He does dial back for a little bit extra there. Just uses concrete beat up ball. And gets that real sort of old school, straight 12-6 drop.
All good.
Yep, you're perfect. I was just talking over the defensive situation.
Nice swing.
Cap drops that dropper on the outer half of the plate, gets Gino to swing through it. Two outs, 0-2 count. Gino gets a piece of that one, squibs back in. It stops. So a little squibber single. Ball's head foul, came back and just stopped immediately when he came back in. That's a tough one. I know I was talking to someone recently. We use a 12-foot line, singles line, which has been the standard for quite a bit now. But about moving it back, and I think there's some validity to that. Because hits like that, it's almost impossible for any pitcher to get to, and clearly it doesn't look like a single, but. Doesn't bother Caps. He comes back to get Chris Morris swinging. So we go to the bottom of the 6th. Oh, sorry, top of the 7th. Still tied at 0. Voodoo closes out against the Juggernauts 1-0. It's like Toast picked up the win in that, so they await the winner of this game in our finals. Voodoo back to the finals for the 3rd straight tournament.
Come on, Bryce.
Hey, 2-5. Let's get it started, huh?
Pretty impressive. Talking earlier about how there was 6-2 and 2 teams in this tournament, then plus the 4 that went 3-1 or 4-0, and then a few that had rougher days. But there's still at least 1-1 and 3 team in that mix. I think 2. I think we only had 1-0 and 4 team this day. So to be able to make back-to-back tournament championship games in this sort of competitive environment is pretty impressive. So I'm sure Voodoo wants a championship. They don't want just another runner-up finish.
Nice spot. No one's touching that. Go, Bryce.
Yep. Gotta leave one over to play for us. Yep. All you need, man. Not discouraged.
Go, 10. 2 more outs. Come on, 10.
Yeah,
Good idea.
Cap somehow pitching now.
What inning?
7.
Come on, 10.
No, that's not what.
I caught a glimpse. I know you're doing.
Come on, boys. Let's go. Let's extend the inning here. Make him work. Hey, let's go, Ted. Help
Hey,
yourself
can you
out.
let's plug that in.
Go, Bryce.
Do you have your cord for this?
Come on, Bryce.
Do you have anything for this? It doesn't matter. I can just.
No, because it's USB-C.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think was I was
It doesn't matter. I can just use that up.
Or I should.
I don't know why I can't just use my iPad for the phone. I don't know why.
Good eye, Ted.
It's the bottom of the 7th here, 0-0. Stompers, New School Risers. Dave Capobianco out for his second inning of work this game. Came in the last inning in relief of Chris Owen.
You're on it, Bryce.
There's one of those in there that may not be charged, so make sure it's charged.
Do you have a USB-C?
Yeah, that one.
Go, 10. Win. In the battle, 10. You know what to look for. Thanks. Gotta be there.
Thank you.
Good job. Great at bat, Bryce.
Let's go.
That's a leadoff walk.
Way to get on.
Big for the Stompers. They've had a couple of those this game. A couple early base runners, but up to this point haven't been able to cash in.
All right, you saw it now. Come on. Hey, what do you say here, kid?
Who swings through that high riser?
Grab all double play.
One out, runner on first. Gino Joseph now batting for the Stompers.
Come on, Gino. Come on, Gino.
Gino hits that deep. Gone. Walk-off home run for the Stompers. 7th inning with a runner on first, one out. Gino Joseph. I'm sorry. Yeah, Gino takes it over the.
No,
left
it's
field
not that.
wall.
It's black. It's like black. Yeah, it's black.
So there's so many water taking.
That puts the Stompers into the finals for the first time since 2020. They won tournament titles the first 4 years of AW, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Didn't reach any finals in 21. Gino for 2-run walk-off home run puts them back there for the first time in a while. They'll try to finish it off against a tough opponent in Voodoo. We'll have that game coming up on YouTube in about 10 minutes or so, maybe. So